Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me once again for another Monday night Sanctity of Sisterhood show. I am my sister's keeper. I'm so excited that we're back for another week. Thank you to everyone again who inboxed me and texted me over the week who said that last week's show blessed you, changed your mind, changed your thought process, helped you make certain decisions on relationships and friendships. That's what it's all about. Tonight, we have another great show for you. I am asking that you quickly would just share this video out, invite some of your friends, tag some of your friends, start a watch party. And let's just dive into tonight. I have another amazing guest on tonight. I have Lady Sharon Cradle with me on tonight. I thank God for her. She's amazing. First Lady and just an amazing sister and woman of God overall. And so we want to welcome her to the Sanctity of Sisterhood on tonight. Would you please welcome Lady Cradle tonight?
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
How's
Lady
everybody doing?
C.
Hi.
So thank you for joining me on tonight. Good evening, Evangelist Ann. Bless you, Pastor Tanya Tucker. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. Would you please take a moment and share this out? Share this out tonight. We want to get as many people on the live. We know we took a break. Good evening, Minister Sue. I love you. We took a break, but we're getting back to it. We're getting back at it. I've gotten, like I said, so many text messages, Lady C, about how the show has blessed
Uh-huh.
them and just how it has impacted them. And so, while I was in my transition, I wanted to, still get back to it. So I thank you for
Mm-hmm.
being my guest on tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about, we want to talk about how should we respond when God doesn't?
Hmm.
Because if we're honest, a lot of times, we get frustrated when we don't feel like God is moving in our behalf, on our behalf. We get frustrated when we have prayers and petitions up to the Lord and it seems like God is not answering, and we start questioning our faith. We start questioning, where is God? So have you ever had a point in your life where you questioned, where is God? And if so, just encourage us about that.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to say thank you to Lady Lord Hope for asking me. I'm so honored to be on here and to share some things with you guys. There has been times that I have questioned God and I've asked him where he was at. Um, One point in time in my life when my mom had passed, I questioned God. That was one of the most roughest, darkest moments in my life, is when my mother had passed. And some people say that you shouldn't ask God why, or you shouldn't question him why, but I did. And I had, at one point in time, I was frustrated and I lost myself. And I went into the darkest place of my life. I went back to how I used to be and what I used to do. And I went all the way there. And at that time I was married, and it was in 2012, and I was not present at all at that time. When my mom died, for I believe it was 2 years, I wasn't present in my marriage. I wasn't present with my kids. So I got frustrated with God because I didn't understand it. And I had to realize that it was God that did this, that my mom wasn't even sick at the time. It was nothing wrong with her, as far as I knew, that it
Hmm.
was nothing wrong with her. And God just took her. And I was angry. I was angry at God for a very long time. And I had to come to realization that this is life. This is what goes on in life, you know. But it was hard for me to get back to where I was. It took me a very long time to get back to where I was. And because I had stopped praying, at one point in time, I had stopped going to church. And when I
Wow.
did go to church, I was not present. I was evil and nasty to people, to the church folk.
Wow. And you know what? I just want to interject there because thank you for your transparency. I know there are some people on here that have lost a parent, lost their mom, like you said, and you was angry. And I
Mm-hmm.
know, being in church sometimes. Good evening, Pastor Davis, Shalonda Davis. I love you. Thank you for joining us. I know that, in church, a lot of times they tell you, don't question God. Just pray.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Don't
Yes.
question his hand, don't question his works, don't question, why he does what he does. And I feel like that has held a lot of people back and has made a lot of people, like you said, stop going to church, stop wanting to be a part of what God was doing because you were
Mm-hmm.
told, don't question God. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't what
Yes.
and in some instances in life, you know I never understood that term, don't question God. Just, just seek him. I know
Yes.
the seeking part,
Just
but God is there for us to question. He's there for us to have a conversation. That's how we get relationship with him, right? Because
that's
it's
right. That's
relational.
right.
We
That's
have to
right.
pray to
That's right.
God and ask God. So, you touched on a point. You said you were angry with God because he took your mom and she wasn't sick and you didn't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you overcome that feeling, because you said that you left church? How were you able to
Mm-hmm.
overcome that point in your life where you knew God, you loved God and you trusted him, but you was angry with him? What made
I
you
had to
go back?
go back to church.
Yes,
I went back to church. I had lost myself. And then we're being totally transparent here.
absolutely.
And so I had, when I said that I had went into that dark place, my dark place was when I used to get high. That was my dark place. And that's what I did. That was my dark place. And I had to realize at that time, I sunk so low that I thought that I could not get back up. That I
Mm,
thought that God did not love me anymore. And I had sunk so low. And then when I realized that I cannot be here anymore, I had to get on my knees and pray and ask God for forgiveness. And I needed to get back to where I was. But getting back to where you was, it was a process. There is a process. I had to take that process one step at a time. Just like when a baby starts to crawl and a baby starts to walk, that's what I had to start to do. And God had to trust me even more because I left. I left everything. I didn't care about anything. So I had to start praying again. I had to start reading my word again. I had to start going back to, back to Bible school. I had to start doing everything that I used to do, but taking baby steps and doing it. So
right.
that's what I did. And then I had to start getting back to um my friends. Not the friends that from the past, but the friends
Hmm.
that was in the present, because I left those friends alone as well. And I had to start getting back there and I had to regain their trust as well.
Wow.
So,
That
yeah.
wow. That that's a lot. And thank you for being transparent. I know, a lot of people would be afraid or ashamed to say that,
Mhm.
in their process of going through, or in their process of, just basically being frustrated and not knowing how to handle God not answering our prayers when we feel like he should. because it's a
Yes.
lowly place, and for you to say that your dark place was getting high, and that's a testimony in itself, that although you found yourself at your lowest point, and you said you were married, you were, what, your husband was a pastor at that point, or you guys were,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Yes, he
and
was.
at the end of the day, like, you still had to take baby steps on your journey to get to a place where for yourself you knew God was with you. So to
Yes.
encourage us, hey, Pastor Shamel, hey sis, thank you for joining. If you guys, those of you that are just coming on, share this live. We're talking tonight about what do you do when God doesn't answer your prayers. How should we respond? Good evening, Pastor Newell. How should we respond? Pastor Tanya Tucker says the dark place becomes a place of
Becomes a
isolation,
place of isolation. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so,
Yes. You
in your
get
dark place, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you do. It becomes a place of isolation because sometimes when you're going through, it just becomes, well, I like where I'm at. I want to stay here. This is comfortable for me. I feel good in this place. I feel good. I'm used to this, you know, and in your heart, that's really where you're not supposed to be. But sometimes we go through where we have a pity party for ourselves. Nope, because I'm gonna stay here because nobody don't care. Nobody don't care nothing about me. So I'm gonna stay here. This is where I want to be right now. You know, and I knew that that was not where I was supposed to be. Feeling sorry for myself. My mom had died. I had my kids, my marriage, and everything. And even in the time when my mom died and being in that dark place, it took a strain on my marriage. It took a big strain on my marriage because I did not talk about it, how my feelings to my husband, and I pushed him away. So again, I had to get back to the trust in our marriage because I had pushed him away. Even the trust of my kids as well, because I was not present at all. I was present, I was there, but I wasn't present. So
Mm.
yeah.
Wow. And so when you were, if you don't mind sharing with us, like I said, I know for a fact that there's
Hmm.
a few people on here that, lost their mom, and, your dark place might not be their dark place, but, we all experience those points in our lives, no matter what, it takes for us to get there, where there is something that causes a separation between us and God, right? There is something that
Hmm.
happens in our life that causes us to feel like God left us or God is not there. And it causes
Hmm.
an upheaval in our lives. And so you talked about how um you were getting high and it caused a strain on your marriage and with your kids, and you had to gain trust. So when you knew, because you said you knew that that wasn't the place for you to be, what was it for you? When did you have that wake up moment that said, you know what, you got to get up from this dark place, that you knew that God was still with you?
It was, I remember this so clear. I can see this right now. It was, I was somewhere where I wasn't supposed to be. And it was a young lady I've known for years. And she walked in the door and she looked at me and she was like, "Wow, I haven't seen you for a long time." I was like, "Yeah, just chilling or whatever, you know." And she pulled me to the side. She said, "You do not need to be here." She was like, "You don't even look right in this atmosphere. What are you doing here? Why are you here?" And then I was explaining to her, and she looked at me and she said, "You're making excuses." She said, "No, you do not need to be here." She said, "You always was like so different from all of us that lived." I used to stay with my aunt at 414 Sutter Avenue in Van Dyke for a little while. And that's where I knew her from. And she was like, "You never used to hang out with us." She said, "You always was on the go, going to church, doing this, doing that, but you were just always, you never hung around the block." She was like, "This ain't the block no more." She said, "Get out of here. Get off of this block. Go to your block. Do what you have to do." She said, "Because you do not belong here." She said, "This is a strange place for you to be, and you do not need to be there." After that night, I left and I went home and I prayed and I asked God, and I was like, "I just need for you to just take this away from me. I need the hurt to go. I need the anger to go." I said, "I need to be free to love again. I need to be able to parent and to be a wife to my husband." I said, this is what I need. I need for all of that to go, you know? And when I said that to God, I felt better, but I knew that I still had work to do. And I worked on it because, like I said before, everything is a process, and I had to take steps. And I took those steps. I'm glad I took those steps. I don't really know if I did not take those steps, I don't know where I would be at today. I really don't.
Mm.
So I'm just being honest. I really don't know where I would be at today, but I thank God that I did take those steps.
That's really a blessing. That's the testimony, and I thank you for sharing on tonight because those are the necessary steps. It doesn't, and let me encourage you guys that's on here tonight, you ladies that I see that's on here. It does not matter what your isolation, your low place is, your dark place is. Hear the testimony. Take the necessary steps to get out. And although you may pray, and I'm pretty sure, like Lady Cradle said, she prayed. That doesn't mean that God answered right away, right? Because I'm
That's
pretty
right.
sure that there were times where you were like in your dark place, in your isolation place, getting high, like you said, married with children, still getting high in your dark place where you knew God, so you prayed to God, but he didn't deliver you automatically. You were still
That's
in
right.
that place. And so
That's
we
right.
got to understand, right? Because we get frustrated when God is not answering our prayers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget there were times where God, there were things that I was going through and I was praying to God and it didn't
Mm-hmm.
seem like God was answering. And I would question, like, where you at,
Yes.
God? I know I'm
Mm-hmm.
connected. Like, did you leave me? Can you not
Yes.
hear me? And right, and then that changes,
Yes.
that turns into frustration, and then
Mm-hmm.
frustration turns into bitterness and resentment,
Yes.
because now it's like, this, I serve you. I know
Yes.
I've been faithful. Maybe I'm not, faithful now because of my circumstance, but it causes
Mm-hmm.
us to go back and give God our list of what we've been doing, how we've been serving, and that makes us angry and it can make you frustrated. But tonight we're trying to encourage you. Although you may find yourself frustrated because it feels like God is not answering, do not give up. Go
That's
about
right.
your journey. Take your necessary steps. That God will always send somebody to pull you out. How did you probably didn't even think that God would send somebody from
No.
Brownsville, where you
No.
was at, to
That's right.
say, right, Terry, prayer changes things. Pastor Tanya
That's
said his
right.
strength is made perfect in our weakness.
That's
Amen.
right.
Pastor
Amen.
Tanya, you are absolutely right. Like, we don't know why God puts us through certain tests. And while we're questioning, God is saying, I'm just trying to make you a testimony. Go with
Yep.
it. And it be the ugly, the dirty,
That's
the
right.
things that we feel like we can't handle. Like you said, God sends somebody to say, what are you doing here? You don't
Yes.
even belong here. Get out of here. To cause you to turn and go back to the God that you know you've
That's
been
right.
praying to, that feel like he didn't answer you, but shifted your whole focus back to
That's
God to say, you
right.
know what?
Hmm.
I gotta go back.
That's right. That's right. Hmm. My God. Yep. And I did not want to go back. I didn't. I'm being honest. I didn't. That place, it felt good. It was comfortable. I didn't have to deal with anybody at that time. I got to a place where, oh, I don't want to be a mother. Nope. I don't want to be a wife. Nope. This is just all about me. It's me, 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 me. And that's being selfish right there. Not thinking about my husband and not thinking about my kids. So that was being selfish. So I felt like it has to be all about me. So, you know, just take this pain away, take this hurt away. But God said no. I know I know what I created you here for. I know your purpose. I know your worth. And at the time I thought I wasn't worth anything,
Mm.
you know, but God turned that thing around, you know, and I can sit here right now and be like, I am a star. And thank God that I'm a star. I can say that now, and I can say it with so much confidence that I am a star, because He's brought me through. And I go through other things as well, just like we all will go through things as well, but just always know that God is with you. We get frustrated, we get aggravated, and we get angry because He's not answering us when
Mm.
we want Him to answer. But in God's time, He's answering because He's seeing that, okay, you want this, you ask me for this, you ask me for that. But what are you doing in the process of me giving you these things? What are you doing so I can see that you're going to go, you can do this? What are you doing at that time? He's watching us go through what we're going through, but He has to see, what are you doing by you asking me for this? What are you doing? So God, He takes us through these different tests, and some people may not understand it, and He's taking us just through all these different tests in our lives to see, can they handle that? Well, if they can handle that, then I'm gonna give them that. And if they can handle, it's
Mhm.
so that's what He's doing, and I felt like at that time that's what He did for me. Well, I'll give you this, but I want to see how you gonna handle it. Let me see how you gonna handle that. So
Absolutely. I like to say, God wants to see if He can trust us,
yes,
because a lot of times, a lot of things that we ask God for and that we pray to God for, God has to know that He can trust us, right? To whom
that's
much is
right.
given, much is
Much is
required.
required.
And a
Yep.
lot of us we want His hand, but we don't want His touch. God, put your hand in my
Hmm.
money, but don't touch my stuff.
Yes.
God, put your hand on my life, but don't bother me when I go in this area.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so a lot of times, although we don't always we're not always faithful to what God is saying for us to do. And so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be times in life, if we're honest, where God is not going to always answer us when we expect Him to answer us. He's not going
Yep.
to pull us out, when we want Him to pull us out. For some of us, because we're so hard-headed, because we don't listen to His instructions, because we want to do what we want to do, he allows um he allows things to go on in our lives. Claire says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You are absolutely
Yes.
right. And we are not always, listen, how many times have you said, God, I'm ready for this? I'm
Yes.
ready. I'm ready for your word. I'm ready. And
Uh-huh.
then God sends the man or woman of God to tell us what we should be doing. And then we say,
Yes.
that ain't God.
That ain't
God
God.
can't be saying that. God ain't talking to me. God sends God sends the man of God to say, leave that man alone. That ain't your husband.
Mm-hmm.
We like, no,
Yes.
because I've been praying for him. Leave that woman alone. She not ready yet. She still got
Mm-hmm.
baggage. No, we have to identify with and be honest with ourselves and say, I'm
Yes.
not ready for God to take
That's
me to the
right.
next level because I haven't
That's
mastered
right.
what He's
Mm-hmm.
taking me through.
You taking me through. That's right. Yep. You talking good, sis. That's right.
Listen, because if we're listen, the frustrations be real. Like, what?
Yep.
Where are you, God? Where are you? Why are you
Why you
showing
not?
up?
Mm-hmm.
My bills
Mm-hmm.
need to be paid. Rent is due. Kids don't have, like,
Yep.
I can't pay my bills. I can't pay this. I can't pay that. We're living in a pandemic. What is going on? And I just believe that on tonight there are people that are frustrated with God. They're saying not that they don't love God, not that they are turning their
Yeah.
backs on God,
They just
because
frustrated.
we love
They just
God. We
frustrated.
understand, but we're
Yes.
frustrated, right?
And that is that the frustration, that's the human part of us getting frustrated, and trying and throwing in the towel. And that's not the time to throw in the towel. When you get frustrated, you pray even more. When you get aggravated, when you get angry, when you get mad, you pray even the more. Even though sometimes at that point in time, you don't want to pray, and you just got to be honest with yourself. I do not want to pray, you know. And here's the thing: God understands that, but still, get on your knees and pray and tell him everything, because he already knows what's in your heart. So you just tell him everything. I am frustrated, God. I am aggravated. I cannot deal with this anymore. I need to see a light in this tunnel, because I don't see nothing right now. You tell him everything that you're going through, and once you get to the point where you are open to him and you tell him every little secret that you think that he already don't know, but he knows every little secret, you tell him, and you'll see that things are just going to start opening up. He's going to start opening up your eyes even the more, opening up your ears even the more, letting you see and hear different things that you did not want to see or hear before.
I honestly believe that, and I really feel like we have to, as much as we go to our family members and friends, we've got to talk to God the more. And we've got to
Yep.
learn how to be honest with God and where we're at. And it's not like you said, it's not like God doesn't know, because He knows all, He sees all, He's
Yep.
omnipresent, He's omnipotent, He knows everything, right? And He's able to be everywhere at the same time. And so we have to learn how to know, we have to know that it is okay to be honest with God. It is okay to be transparent with God. Like you said, God understands. The Bible tells us He became human so that He could
Yes.
understand,
Understand. Yep.
so that we would know that He is not separated from our feelings. He understood, even on the cross, even on His way up to the cross. He said, if it be thy will, let this
Yes.
cup pass from me. That was Jesus saying, I understand. I understand the assignment, God, but if
Yep.
it's your will, let it pass, because I don't want
Hmm.
to. He didn't want to, but he knew he had to, because the assignment was greater. And because he understood that if he didn't fulfill the assignment, we would not be saved.
Yes.
God
Yes.
died for us. He went
Uh,
on the cross for us.
yes.
He went through all of those things for us, to show
That's
us
right.
the human side of it and the God side of it,
Yep.
so that we
That's
can
right.
know that, what, even, listen, there were times on the cross where Jesus was talking and it seemed like God wasn't hearing him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's right. That's right.
But even in that, and God could have released them, brought them down. But at the end of the day, you've got to understand, people of God, we've got to understand, right? Cast your cares. We got
Cast
to
your
cast
cares. That's
our
right.
cares on God,
Cares
because
on
He
God.
cares for us.
Mm-hmm.
He understands that we're human. He understands that we don't always understand that He is going to show up in His timing. And His
Yes.
timing is not our timing. If we could just hold out and hold on. And listen, if you know that there's another sister or somebody else that is a little weak in their faith and you're stronger, the Bible tells us that those that are strong go back and get the ones that are weak.
You went in and out.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. We've
Yeah.
got to go back. We've got to go back and be able to restore, to bring back, to undergird, to strengthen each other. And I love
Yes.
the fact when you testified and you said, sis, how you knew that you were someplace you shouldn't be, and someone that knew you shouldn't be there said, "Get out of here."
Yes.
How many of us know that our sisters in Christ are in a mental state or in a physical state
Mm.
where they should not be, and are and will say, "Get out of there"?
Yes. Hmm. Wow.
Has there ever been a point in your life, on your journey, or even recently, where where you knew that you weren't, you prayed about something and you began to get frustrated, but God, He came in or He sent somebody your way to encourage you to go on a little bit further?
Yeah. When we were at a point in time when we were at Calvary in Red Hook in Brooklyn, and we were there for, I believe it was nine and a half years, and then little things started happening. But at that time when it was happening, me and my husband, we really wasn't, I don't think we weren't looking at it like that, like we had to go until one situation had happened. And that's when we were like, we got home and we were like, this is not supposed to be like this. We have to do something. There has to be something that needs to be done. We have to, we have to go, or I just won't pastor anymore. But can't stay here
Hmm.
because doing it was having a bad effect on our kids, and they were younger then, so we couldn't stay there. But mentally, it was straining. It was very, very straining. It was to get up. You know how you feel when Saturday comes and you can sleep and then you're getting yourself ready for Sunday? When I used to get myself ready for Sunday, when I used to live in New York, it was aggravating. It
Hmm.
was anxiety because at one point in time, it was just, I really don't want to go here because it's always something. I got somebody in this ear, I got somebody in this ear, and I'm trying to protect my kids. And it was just a drain on me mentally. And I'm asking God, why? Why? I need an answer why, you know? And we used to have afternoon services. I used to go to church in the morning and I used to come home and take
Wow.
my kids with me because I did not want all of that on my kids and all of that on me. And I knew my husband knew that I'm his biggest supporter. But we
Hmm.
had already talked about it. And I was like, if it's afternoon service, I said, me and the kids are gonna come home. And he understood that. But mentally drained me to the core, to where I did not like the weekends. It's like, dang, Friday's here already. I gotta get ready to go to church, I went through all of these things in my head, like, what can I say? Can I say that I'm sick? What can I do? It was like all these little things that I don't want to be here. But then I prayed and I asked God, I said, I know I have to get over myself, and I have to be here for my husband. So that's what I did. Me and the kids, we would go, and then at one point in time, I said, "We're not leaving. We're gonna stay for afternoon service, and we just gonna do what we have to do because we're a family, and
Hmm.
we gonna go through this thing. We gonna go through it together, you know." But it when you don't want to be somewhere, it drains you, and that's what it did to me. It was just aggravating. I was like, I
So,
mm-mm.
so when did you get to a place? Because there could be there are people who are feel how you felt. Like
Mhm.
I'm in church every week, or well because before COVID,
Yeah.
now it's COVID and people in their comfort
Yeah.
zones and they home, and
Exactly.
they're okay with virtual church, and
But yeah.
I get it, but I still, if we're honest, I still miss, you know,
Mhm.
being in the physical building, and
The
with
yes.
everybody,
Mhm.
right? Because you can't
Yeah.
have everybody at the
Yeah.
same time, and so
That's
it,
right.
it is a difference. It's a different way of doing things. But before COVID, there were people who felt like, and that I spoke to, who said, I'm just tired of church as usual. I'm just tired of going to church, and people not being real. People, you can't get a real breakthrough. Wait, Pastor Tanya says, "Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit
The
of
spirit of
meekness,
meekness.
considering thyself, lest thou also be
Be
tempted."
tempted.
Amen, Pastor Tanya.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen. And I like that because um a lot of times, if we're honest, we haven't always considered one another.
True. Oh, very true.
We
Very,
haven't
very
always
true.
considered one another, and that causes us to be frustrated, or other people to be frustrated with us. And I've learned during this pandemic that a lot of the things that we do in church, I'm not going to say is unnecessary, but it's
Mm-hmm.
done with a lack of excellence. It's
Yes.
like, oh, we're just going to church. Oh, it's just routine. Not
Mm-hmm.
realizing that people really want an experience.
Mm-hmm.
People really want God. No one wants to come to church and feel how you felt, like, oh, God, I don't want to be here. Oh, it's the weekend. Oh, it's Sunday. I'm just going out of habit. Or, oh, now I'm just
Mm-hmm.
getting up, going on my virtual service because that's just what I know I'm supposed to do. We've got to get back to loving God authentically, loving God not for what he does, not because of what he can do, but because of who he is to us,
Yes. Yes.
what
Yes.
he's brought
Yes.
us out of, what he's done for
Mm-hmm.
us, how he's made
Mm-hmm.
ways out of no ways for us, how, like you said, how he took you from addiction to getting over it, to being able to be that wife to your husband, to be that mother to your children, to be that first lady, and all of that so that you can be a better woman to tell other women, this is what I went through.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not perfect, but I made it
Nope.
out.
That's right. That's right. I made it out. Not perfect at all. Not at all. Not at all.
And
And
this
that's
is what
what.
people
Hmm.
want.
Yeah. Yeah. I when like the pandemic and everything, and it was just my husband, myself, and the musicians and our kids because they was running the audio,
Hmm.
and I really like missed like seeing people, fellowshipping with people, and now the people of Mount Zion is starting to come back to the church and everything. And the people at Mount Zion are the most loving people that I've known for a church, the most
Wow.
loving people. And they took their time to come back. And I like that. They took their time. And the thing about it is that they will watch it on live, and then on some Saturdays they would just come and just sit in the sanctuary because they missed it so much. You
Mm.
know, they miss being in the sanctuary, they miss the fellowship and everything. But God is just amazing. And I don't know if people realize, like with the pandemic, and to see what God is doing with I guess with just certain people, or just with the church folk. Because sometimes church folk, we get to where when it's just a routine, and sometimes God got to snap you out of that routine and put something new so you can know who he is and who you're serving. So yeah.
You're absolutely right. Like God, we often say, and my husband often talks about, the pandemic and how, God had to shake things up for us in order for us to see that we have to become what and
Mm-hmm.
who God is. We have to strive to be better in all
Yes.
aspects of our lives. Like, it's not enough to just tell people to trust God. It's not enough to just
Yes.
tell people he's a way maker. We've got to begin to show people he's a way maker. We've got to show people he's a heart fixer, a
Yes.
mind regulator. Why? Because he did it for
Yes.
me. Why? Because he did it for other people. We've got to be the testimonies of who God is and what he's done and what he is doing, and not be ashamed and not be afraid to share with each other that God is doing it. Deacon
Yes.
Fan says this pandemic is going to bring a lot of people closer to God and closer to each other because they have come to the realization that all of this can be taken away from you in a blink of an eye. You're
He is
absolutely
so,
right.
yeah, you are right. You are
You are
right.
absolutely right. God is resetting, realigning,
Resetting,
and
realigning, and
restoring.
reset. I like that. I like that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
he
given us
is.
time to get it together. Those prayers that we pray, honestly, prayers that I prayed before that I felt like God wasn't answering, when this
Mm-hmm.
pandemic happened, God began to answer them. And I don't know if there's
Look at
anybody else
that.
on this live tonight that could just get in your mind one thing that that you prayed to God before this pandemic, that you felt like God wasn't answering and you were getting frustrated because you wasn't hearing God or God wasn't moving. But during this pandemic, because you've had time to sit down and be still and really put the plan in motion and really hear God, that now God is opening the door.
Yes. Yes.
Whether it was a new apartment, a new car, whether it was your health being restored. Why? How come God restored my health? Because I sat down. I took a moment. I wasn't ripping and running.
That's right.
God had
That's
right.
right.
God had the opportunity to restore me. Like Pastor
That's
Tanya
right.
said, reset and realign me
And restore. Mm.
to
Yep.
him.
That's
We've got
right.
to work out our relationship with God,
With him.
right?
That's
And
right.
then once we can do that, because we're so busy listening, waiting for the audible voice of God, that we miss the
Mm-hmm.
little things that he's already doing,
Yep.
the people
That's
that
right.
he's already using. Whether it's a Facebook Live that you went on and you prayed about, and then God sent somebody to say something to you. Now, listen, I ain't saying be on everybody's live looking for a word, looking for a prophetic word like we do. Because some
Yes.
people are
Because some
spiritual junkies and they go from one live to the next
to the
live and they
next.
want to, right, and they just want to hear, oh,
Yep.
I want to hear what
I
God
hear
is
what
saying.
God's saying.
Right. And then because right. And then itching ears. And then we're on these lives. And you know what, Lady Cradle, I've never seen such a time as you going on these lives and the same people that say that they are the mouthpiece of God and the men and the women of God, all you
Come
hear
on
is them
here.
talking about each other, talking about what
Exactly.
other pastors and prophets are doing or not doing,
Yes.
how
Yes.
we got witches and warlocks in the
Yes.
church. And let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you something. God don't need you to call out the witches and the warlocks. In his word, he
No.
said, let the wheat and the tare grow together, and he
There
will
you
do the
go.
separation. He does not need us to do the separating.
No. No. Not at
We're
all.
trying to do the
Not at all.
separating. We're doing so much separating. We're separating each other.
That's
We're
right.
tearing down the church.
That's right.
The
Mm.
people don't want to come to church because we're so busy. People are so busy on their lives talking about the haters, the witches, the warlocks,
Mm-hmm.
the people that listen.
Yeah.
What
Nobody
is
don't want to hear
God?
that no more. Exactly. Where's God? No, nobody don't want to hear that no more. No. We gotta be straight 100 with God and straight truth with God.
Some of these people are the very things that they say that they hate, they denounce. Some of them are becoming. What?
That's
Listen,
right.
we got to stop condemning each other, because while people are saying they're trying to help you, they're not helping you, they're hindering you. Stay
Yep.
off. Listen, I when I get on people live and I start hearing them talking about witches and warlocks
I'll be
and
like, bye.
God is, yeah, exit.
Bye.
Because if we're in a pandemic and all you're talking about is witches and warlocks and God is doing this and God, right, spiritual schizophrenic, and God is gonna cut you down, and God, let me tell you something. God gave us this time to get our lives together, to get ourselves in order. And as much as time as we
Mm-hmm.
spend trying to get everybody else in line and get everybody else in order and tell everybody else how to live,
That's right.
those same people are looking at
Mm-hmm.
our lives. They want to see our
They
fruit.
want. Yep. That's right.
What is Lady Cradle's fruit? Here's her fruit. She used to get high while being a first lady, a pastor's wife, leading the people, being a mother, but God delivered
Mm-hmm.
her. And she wasn't
Hmm.
afraid to get up here and tell her testimony so that somebody else that maybe have been going through in secret could say, God could do it for her, he could do it for
He
me.
gonna do it for you. That's right. That's right. And he can. You gotta trust and believe that God can do this for you. And here's another thing. You have to want to do it. You have to want the change. I wanted the change. I accepted the change because I
Mm.
knew that I needed it. But if I did not, I probably would not be here with you on this live if I did not accept the change and if I didn't want it. Because at one point in time, I liked what I was doing. Yes, I did. And you got to be honest with yourself when you're in that situation and in the dark place. You like where you're at. I liked where I was at. But then again, at one point in time, when that girl came through that door, that's what did it. I was like, okay, I got to get myself together. It's not easy. It ain't no overnight thing. It ain't no overnight sensation. No, it's work. You put in the work. Just like when you got saved and you put in that work to get saved and to get rid of those things and get rid of that thing, you put in the work. You put in the work, and it is all worth the work.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And we have to, like you said, we have to be honest. We have to know that what we're asking for, like you said, will take work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a decision. We've
That's
got to
right.
make a hard decision. How many of you on here tonight watching this live, whatever you have before the Lord, know that it takes a hard decision. That you've got to have a made up mind that I don't like this about me, but I have the power to change it.
Yep.
Because I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me.
Strengthen me. That's
We
right.
got to know that God is on the inside of us and He is strengthening us daily. Daily, morning by new morning, new mercies we
Let's
are
see.
seeing.
I see.
God loads us daily with benefits. It's up to us how we use those benefits.
That's right.
If we use them, if we get out of our comfort zones, like you said, you was comfortable in doing what you were doing.
Yeah. That's right.
It's comfortable to say, you know what, I've been praying, God ain't answering, I'm just not gonna pray no more. It's comfortable to
Yep.
say I'm frustrated and I'm not serving God no more because He don't care about me. It's comfortable to say, you know what, why am I doing all of this and I don't see no results in my family? Why am I forgiving people and it feels like God is not forgiving me because my life is not changing?
That's right. Hmm.
Through it all, I love the song. Through it all, I've learned to trust in
To trust
Jesus.
in Jesus.
I've
That's right.
learned to trust in
Trust
God.
in God.
Through it all,
Hmm. Yep.
I've
Through
learned
it
to
all.
depend on Him. We've got to learn how to depend on God, even when we can't trace Him, even when we can't see Him, even when God can't trust us at the moment.
Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
we haven't always done everything right where God can trust us. So just like we want to be trusted by people and we want people to trust us, is the same way we've got to get in line with God and what He's doing and allow God to be able to trust us with His stuff.
Yep. That's right.
Because if because when you were going through your process, like you said, you wanted God to be able to trust you. You
Yeah.
wanted God to get to put His hands on your life, to give you back your power, to put you back in the place where you were. Pastor Tanya said quitting is easy.
Quitting is real easy. It's real easy. And quitting is like, I'm out. That's a cop out because I don't want to do the work.
Right, we
Quitting is
quit
real
and then we
easy.
make excuses. I
Yep.
hear, I hear, my husband, he used to say that, Pastor Keaton used to say, excuses are the crutches of the uncommitted. Right? So we make excuses for
Mm-hmm.
why we can't commit to God's way, why we can't commit to waiting and hearing the voice of the
Voice
Lord.
of God. That's right. Yep. Yep.
If we sit still, we can hear God's voice.
That's
If we
right.
get off of everybody else's lives all the time, we can
And
hear
just
God's voice.
sit and be quiet and let God speak to you. And you just got to sit and be quiet. But just like you said, in this pandemic, we had the time to just talk and hear God and seek Him. And if we take that time out still, we can do it. You just sit and just talk to Him and let Him pray to Him and let Him answer you. It ain't gonna come when you want it to come, but it's going to come. And don't give up. Don't give up. Is God loves us too much to give up on us. And He's put too much in us to give up on us. We got so many gifts that we have not even tapped into yet. So many, you know. So it's not about the time of giving up. It's a time to move forward and tap into those things that God has given you that you thought He forgot about, but He has not forgotten about. Just tap into Him.
Amen. We just got to tap into God, tap into His word, tap into what He's doing for our lives, right? And we got to understand that although God is not answering us right now, that does not mean that He will not answer. That just means
That's
that, you
right.
know what we want is not what He wants for us at the moment. And we
That's
have to
right.
learn how to be okay with when God doesn't answer. Or what do we do when God says no? Because for a lot of us, we have things before the Lord, and the Lord is saying, no, that's not what I
Mm-hmm.
want for you. That's not the place I have for you. So, you know, I thank you on tonight for joining me, Lady Cradle. Thank you for being honest on tonight. Thank you for being transparent. I pray that your testimony has touched someone, has helped someone on tonight. I want you to just leave some last words, parting words for our viewers on tonight to encourage them.
I want to, just before I say that, I want to say thank you to Lady Load Hope, and that she has been such a tremendous help for me when she started her Sanctity of Sisters. And we had we had text on Friday, and it was something that I had been texting her about and everything. And now, God is finding his way. So I thank you, Lady Load Hope, for this platform. I thank you for asking me and everything. And I want to say to thank you to the Mount Zionites of Ardmore, Oklahoma, because I see you guys are on here. Thank you so much for your support. Last words, ladies, don't give up. We go through, we're going to go through different situations, different things in life. And some things may be like where you can't handle it. Don't ever give up on God. You keep praying, you keep pressing, you keep moving forward, and you keep trusting God, because God is going to see you through the situation. He's going to see you through it, and he's going to find a way to get you out of it. But also know, as you're going through your situation, that you're going through a test, because God is testing you to see, how are you handling this? Are you giving up on me? Are you giving up on yourself? Never give up on you. Never give up on God. Always know that you are a star. We are queens in this world. We are stars. We are queens. Never give up. Thank you so much, Lady Lodeho. I love you to life. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you
Oh,
so
you're
much.
welcome. I love you too. I thank God for what he's doing, for how he connected us. We didn't even really know each other months back,
Nope.
and we just started texting each other. And I thank
Mm-hmm.
God that I was able to help you.
Yes.
You know, God gets all the glory, because you know what? We have to be helpers one to another. And I'm just glad that, God used me to help you and to make you
Yes.
better in that situation. So I'm grateful for you on tonight. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for consenting. I love you. Tell your
I
husband I
love you
said thank
too.
you. Tell
Yes,
him I said
thank you,
thank you for
Pastor
allowing
Lohold.
you to
I love
come.
you. All right.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us on tonight. Thank you for being a part of the Sanctity of Sisterhood tonight, where we just talked about how should we respond when God doesn't. I want to encourage you on tonight that although you may have things and petitions before the Lord, and you feel like the Lord is not answering, that he's far from you, be encouraged to know that God is not slack concerning his promises toward you. What he said he's going to do, what he
Mm-hmm.
said he's going to back up. And no matter what state you find yourself in, do not leave God. Do not leave the people of God that are there, that he uses to strengthen and encourage you. God loves you so much that he will not leave you hanging, that he will not leave you barren, that he is going to come see about you. Stay diligent, stay prayerful, stay on the altar, and stay with your hands reached up to God, asking him, seeking him for what he has for your next move in life. I love you. This is the Sanctity of Sisterhood. I am my sister's keeper. I will add, I am my brother's keeper too. I love you. Have an amazing week. Until next Monday, God bless you. I love you. Good night.
Good night.